Good afternoon once again to the viewers in the live stream and whoever is watching after. Thankfully, my facial hair has returned, at least to the point where I'm like, okay, like I'm starting to get a little bit handsome again, right? I don't know why I shaved it all off the way that I did a couple days ago, but we're making our way back, so we're all right. My evil twin, he did a good job on the stream, so. Whoever's watching live, welcome. Whoever's watching after the fact, welcome to another stream. There's not that much to talk about, but we may have just gotten confirmation that we're going down at the end of the summer because I don't see how the S&P can be as bullish as it is, and we're just stuck, right? We're going to talk about that today, and we shall begin. We got Wheeze Barney for 25 months as RTX on NASDAQ. I appreciate the sub, man. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yes, that's correct. Okay. Let's see. RTX on the NASDAQ. RTX Corporation. Aerospace. Looks like it's been bearish since March. It's definitely had quite a run. I can't say that stocks like this are as respective to fib tools. The doo-doo stocks usually are because they trade like cryptos. Traditional stocks aren't always as respective, but generally I would say you should still be bullish as long as we're over 164. Anything lower than 164 and you're seeing a typical bear market correction. See how from the high down now it's down 20%. If we went down 30%, that's a typical bear market correction, right? This was 33% and then we went to the moon. This was also 33%, or it was actually 23%. So anything more than 20% is typically bearish. So I would say if you fall below 163, it is bearish. The top is probably in. And I do think, I think right now we're going to look back in hindsight and say it was obvious, but it's not obvious in the moment. The way that I feel FOMO on the semiconductors, it feels like we're in euphoria right now. And you have people making tweets saying we're in phase 4 of the super cycle. Like, if you look at this semiconductor ETF and you take it off of log, there's no way in hell you say the bull market is just starting. Look at this. Like, we're going to look back at this and say, yeah, it was obvious then. But when we're in the moment, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to miss the bull run. But this is not sustainable. It's going to probably do a traffic cone the way that it did here and here. It's probably never coming back to $8, but I could see it coming all the way back down to 50, 40 bucks. And that has nothing to do with your stock, but it does because we're in bubble mode right now. So something like this, which from the bottom is up 200%, you could be going to 138. So I would say if you could stay over 163, or let me rephrase that to get rid of the word if. As long as it remains above 163, we can assume it's bullish. Any lower than 163, and we can assume that it's going to move to the downside significantly. And I can favor that assuming Bitcoin continues to break down because it's very difficult to see a Bitcoin capitulation and stocks go higher. It almost never happens. Even though this stock might have nothing to do with Bitcoin, you can just see when Bitcoin goes to the bottom, it's just because we're in such a bearish environment that everything goes down together. So I would have to argue, again, Bitcoin going down to the bottom here triggered the capitulation. So we'll say bullish above 160, but once you lose 160, I would say prepare for impact. It's going to go much lower. I appreciate the sub. Pizza Monkey Trash for 2 says, SC checking in for 2. Got any Doge Hopium? I appreciate the 2. I did, but unfortunately, it's kind of fizzling out. I was hoping Doge was going to go higher. I need Doge. I don't need Doge to succeed. I would like for Doge to succeed because that would be beneficial to everybody in crypto. But if Doge isn't going to do anything over the next 2 months, I'm going to say it's going back to 5 cents. I didn't forget about my 5 cent prediction. I was hoping he was going to get invalidated, but I can't tell you that's bullish. When we have a 10-day stock RSI doing what it's doing and you're seeing no follow through at all, that's bearish. It is what it is. You can tell it how you want it. When you start seeing a bunch of wicks like this, it means people are selling every chance they get. So I'm going to have to say once August passes, sorry, I would even say July. Once July passes, Doge below 15 cents, I think triggers the final move down to around 5, 6. I think 5 to 7 cents is definitely still on the table. So I wish I had hopium. We could still argue that technically we could still move higher because the momentum is still max bullish, but listen, this has been overbought now for 2 weeks and we still didn't move. So once we start stalling, I think once you print a lower high on a weekly candle, that'll let you know you're bearish. You see how you printed a lower high here and then that was it, bearish. I have to assume that going into June, Doge still being below 12 cents is pretty much telling us that it's not going up. So we could favor bullish because it is max bullish and the S&P is max bullish, but I'm going to stop saying max bullish, I think, starting in June. Because even if you put Doge and you mark Doge for the summer moves, you can see post-May it was bearish, and then post-July, that was kind of it. Right? Yeah, you did make another high, but that was like the last trap before you went to zero. We don't have time to do that this time around. Because the projected bottom is supposed to be in Q4, so we can't be in Q4 still hanging out up here. I have to assume that the summer should be the peak. And actually, you could argue May or June was bearish in 2024. It was bearish in 2025. Even though June was technically bullish, you went down into June. But the thing is, we can't afford to get something like this. Because then it will tell us that it was bearish, because this was bearish. So I wish I had opium for Doge. I don't. But I would say when we get into July, when we get into July, Doge being below 15 cents pretty much tells me that there's a very high chance we're still going to 6, 5 cents. I think Doge got to get over 15 to invalidate these lower prices. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's my opinion. Piece of monkey trash for 2 again says BMW 524 in the chat loves Pengu. Can you tell him it's poop? I appreciate the 2. I don't know who that is. I guess that's your friend, BMW 24. I don't know everything about Pengu. I remember I saw it on Times Square's billboard. Dude, I'm telling you, we got to stop fading the signals. We fade every signal in our face. I went to Times Square and I saw Pengu on the main thing where they dropped the ball, or maybe I think it's across from that. And that was in September of 2025. And from that, from that point, it went straight down. So whenever you see mainstream stuff like that, it's always bearish, man. So I don't fully know about Pengu. Could it be a big meme in the next bull market? Sure. Would I buy it now? No. I think there's a good chance we're going to finish the bear market in the next 5 months. Maybe I have to look into Pengu. It could be worth something in the next bull market, but unless it gets over 13, I think Pengu can come back to the low or even break the low at around 4. I'm going to have to look into Pengu, but it is bearish below 13. And once you fall below 82, it's super bearish. But getting over 13 should trigger a larger rally. So whoever your friend is, Tell him as long as it's below 13, it's bearish. And breaking over 13, he should be okay for a rally to around 28 or 20. But for now, it's still making a lower high. So I appreciate it too. I expect a 4-hour being low on the RSI. We see a little more in the 80s tomorrow, then the weekend, the downside begins. No, there's no guarantees that we're going to crash right now. I'm not coming on here telling you that's it, we're going down. That would be nice if it did, but we could sit here for a little while. Even in 2022, we sat here for 3 weeks. So maybe it is as simple as the 200-day moving average. I don't push it. I don't really look at it. I'm just showing you guys because I'm a YouTuber and that's my responsibility. I'm sure you've seen all over YouTube, we hit the 200-day moving average and then we go down. I'm not saying it has to happen. That has happened every market cycle. We have come up to it and then reversed. Are we in here? Maybe, but you can see here we sat here for months before going down. So I'm sure you've seen this all over YouTube. If you haven't, you've seen it now. What I do find interesting is every time we have come to it, as I mark them for you, our 5-day stock RSI is exactly where it is right now, which means anything other than up, we're going to see a very large move down. Now, in 2018, you didn't necessarily break the low, you just went back down. So if we do see that, it doesn't matter. We'll still know it's bearish, which is why I'm trying to say for the people that think the bottom is in, you kind of got to keep moving. You can't do what we're doing here, which is stall. Because I'm going to show you guys a bearish chart, all right? If you guys are bullish, close your eyes. If you actually take Bitcoin divided by QQQ, there's no bull run at all. It's like there's just nothing. It's like you know when you scroll the YouTube shorts and someone plays the fart sound, that's what it is. I mean, there's no bull run, man. It looks pitiful. So I'm going to assume we could sit here for a little while, but normally that's not a good sign when Bitcoin is underperforming the way that it is. So I'm going to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt, but this chart is starting to turn bearish. And normally if Bitcoin is significantly underperforming the stock market, then it's typically a bear market. Because even when the bull market started last time, Bitcoin exploded to the upside. So the fact that it's not moving at all, it's actually making lower highs. That it's not even that it's not moving, it's every time it attempts to go up, they're selling. So Bitcoin's kind of got to break out now. Could you say this is a bull flag? Sure. You got the stock RSI to get you out of here. But if the stock RSI goes from oversold to overbought and we don't go up, I can't tell you it's going to go up when it goes from overbought to oversold. That's not going to happen. So we're going to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt, let them push the price, or at least hold up the price. Maybe not even push up the price, but hold up the price for as long as they want. But I have to assume, based on historical evidence, that this cannot stay up here forever. And when it finally comes down, anything other than Bitcoin going like this should result in another low. And I think the next move down should be the bottom, especially if it happens in August. I said it in this morning's video. I'm not surprised we got the rally. I'm surprised we got the rally without making another low. Because if you would have told me we were bullish into the summer, I would agree with you. I actually thought we were going to go like this. When we were up in January, I thought we were going to go like this. We said sideways until January, then down. I thought we were going to go down again and then get the relief rally. That's what I thought was going to happen, which is clearly incorrect. What looks like is happening is we're just going to go like this, but we're just going to get some type of God dump at the end, you know? Because historically, you always get accumulation. Even in 2018, where it didn't feel like we were down here, well, we were definitely down here for quite some time. We were down here for 4 months. So for people that think we're just going to go down and then teleport, that's never happened before. You could argue it happened for COVID, but COVID wasn't the cycle low. It was this. So we're gonna have to spend at least 3 to 4 months down here, which is why I was hoping we would get it over with faster, but we might sit here for months, which means if we don't go down until July or August, how on earth do we go down from 80K all the way down to 44K? It's gonna have to be a straight move down. And then we're gonna sit here from October until March. I guess that's not impossible. So there's no rule that says we have to go down right now. We could sit here for a little bit. So just be careful with it has to crash. Headed to happy hour. All right, man. I'll see you later. Thanks for the 4. Minority voice for 5 says click indicator, then click technicals, then click all channel patterns, put on 15-minute. I appreciate the 5, man. That is awesome. Click indicator, then click technicals, then click all channel patterns. Oh, here. I can't do it. I don't have premium. Whoops. I can't do it, man. I don't qualify for I don't qualify for that. It says I don't, my bracket doesn't need, my net worth bracket doesn't meet the requirement to participate, unfortunately. But I appreciate the 5. What does it show? What is it showing? We can draw it. We can draw it manually. But I do appreciate the 5, man. Oh, Spy's bouncing again. What are you trying to highlight? Like what is the shape that it's drawing? What's up, Z Gaming? Welcome. You need to get rid of one of the indicators you have. No, if you don't have them checked, you can put as many indicators as you want. Oh wait, maybe. Yeah, you might be right. Hold on. Let's see. I didn't realize I had so many of them. You're right. What do they say? Let him cook now. Nah, you're wrong. It's a special, it seems to be a special thing, you know? It was a good try, but if that guy that was here that says enjoy the ride, he would comment, shut your mouth and enjoy the ride. No, you must delete. No, I have, trust me, I have a window with like 1,000 indicators. If you if you uncheck them, it works. I'm telling you, I have another chart with like 100 indicators. This is just a premium thing that he has. It's a rising wedge. Yeah, I have a rising wedge on another chart that I have. I mean, you could probably even get away with this too still. The problem is we could sit here for a while, you know? This one you might be able to, yeah, even this one you're testing. Yeah, I don't know if I could connect these. This resistance line is still definitely getting hit, but this would be some type of rising wedge. But the reality is, man, we are so bullish right now that the fact that Bitcoin is still not moving. I mean, you could look at Ethereum too. Ethereum isn't even making a higher high, it's making a lower high. So, yeah, you can't really draw anything for Ethereum. But yeah, we're making some type of rising structure. I don't know how you're drawing your wedge, but maybe it's like this, or maybe you have it on non-log. Does that help? Yeah, I don't think it matters. Yeah, I'm not sure if it matters if it's on log or not. It's the same. It could be, but I appreciate the 5, man. Yeah, we're definitely in a weird spot because you have stocks acting as if it's a parabolic cycle. You have Bitcoin moving up, but you don't have Ethereum or Solana following or BNB. So I just have to rely purely on the momentum, which is what we've been doing. And I think it's going to work. Now, if we just start teleporting up, then we're going to have to start realizing like what the hell is going on here. Because we really shouldn't come up here, I think. Because that doesn't really make sense to go all the way up to 98K. Now it's June. How on earth do we go from 98K all the way down here? That doesn't really. I mean, I guess I can't say anything is impossible, but it just doesn't really look likely. The only way that would make sense is if the bottom is a lot further away, like all the way out. BMW for 5 says Pengu is goated. I don't know. If it survives the bear market, then maybe it'll be goated, but I would say if that thing can't get over 13, like I just showed you, I think it was MEXC. Yeah, if this thing can't get over 13, it's super bearish. So I would say from the high to the low, watch 13. Getting over that, it is super bullish, but failure to break over 13 would result in another move to the downside. Especially since it's a Solana coin. So I think if it's unable to clear 13 in a timely manner, at some point Solana has to go down. So Pengu should also go down. But I appreciate the 5, man. I think if Pengu gets over 13, you should be all right. Am I all in? I don't own any crypto. I don't own anything, no. I have to start making a game plan because I was looking at this last night and I realized that SOXL is definitely going to be one of the things I watch. And the reality is, while it is at 160 and maybe it goes higher, it's not a stock that you can treat like a regular stock. It's a leveraged stock, which means if the semiconductors, even though they're on the ceiling right now, if they fall by 30%, this is going to come all the way down here. And I was looking at the math, And it falls by at least 60% every bear market. But it just needs SPY to fall more than 20%. So if SPY falls more than 20%, especially since SPY is now pretty much NVIDIA, MU, AMD, it's all the same stuff. I do think SOXL could come down here one last time. It might, just for me. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but I think it might because again, I'm not saying we're in bubble territory, but this is unsustainable. Yeah, you can't, there's just no way. Every time we get this move, it looks like it's going to keep going, and then it goes down. Look, it happened twice in a row. Now we have it again. So I don't see how it's sustainable. And the fact that Bitcoin is doing nothing, it kind of tells me that we're halfway through the bear market. And then like I said, if you throw this on the chart, like it paints the picture perfectly. Like this doesn't look like a bull market to me. This looks like it's getting ready to roll over again. It looks like we're missing the final move down, which we are. Yeah, this is only down 54%. It is shrinking every time, but not to that extent where it goes from 88 to 83 to 71 to 54. Maybe it goes to like 64. That makes sense. But that's a big drop from here. That's 32%, which 32% from here puts us all the way down at 51K. But it's just one of those times. You can make an argument for a bear market, and I'm sure there's people making an argument for a bull market. You just got to manage your risk, and that's all you can do. You know? I'm sure for every bearish argument, someone can make a bullish argument. I'm just trying to make sure I'm only showing you what has always happened, not what could happen, right? So when people say the S&P is bullish, it is, but that doesn't mean Bitcoin is bullish. You can see here, that's exactly what happened. And you can see here, that's exactly what happened. So just because it's happening again doesn't mean it's bullish for Bitcoin. That's why I think, again, if it is a super cycle, and I keep saying if because I genuinely don't think it's a super cycle, but if it is a super cycle, then we need to see Bitcoin go up into the high 90s by the summertime. Because anything other than 90 plus by July or August, I do think July and August is where the reversal is. It could be before that, but I'm not doing anything before that. Like, I'm not calling for a crash until after August. Because I could sit here like an idiot saying crash, 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 and the price just keeps going up. That doesn't do anything for us. At least knowing and acknowledging that it's bullish, you don't lose any money trying to do anything, you know? But where's my, oh. I do think the stock RSI is telling us that it is max bullish, but for how much longer? That's the question. And I'm going to have to say that Bitcoin doing nothing will put a dent in this. So I'm actually curious, what does Bitcoin divided by SOXL look like? Oh man. Yeah, Bitcoin's not even the best asset anymore. Well, I guess it was April 2025. Yeah, so I guess if you hold long enough, Bitcoin isn't really the best asset. Look at that, man. I don't know. I think I'm gonna be a SOXL Moon Boy. It's beating, well, it's not beating Bitcoin, but I don't know. What do you make of this chart? I guess you get the same return since 2018. Is that what it's saying? What about Bitcoin divided by Tesla? Yeah, same thing. Oh, this chart is interesting. When this chart peaks, it's actually time to get out. Look, December of 2017, March of 2020, or not time to get out, but like, I guess that's your euphoria in a way. We never had euphoria this time, so I can't really say. Man, is this thing gonna make another V recovery, you think? And it's gonna make a new high by tomorrow? I mean, this is just nuts. What about SOX 4? I don't think I have access to this. Yeah, I don't think I have access to this. It's definitely on my radar. I don't know how high it's gonna go. I can't pretend to know how long this is gonna go on for, but again, I see MSTR, I see Coinbase. I think today's earnings, right? We'll see what Coinbase does after market, right? Today's not a big day, but it's something to mark because Coinbase rugging is not bullish. So let's see what she does. And the BMNR isn't doing anything either. Oh, this is what I had too. Baito. Yeah, this is like a fake Bitcoin ETF. This is getting stuck at the resistance line too, the rising wedge. Yeah, I was thinking about what Nanangoyan said yesterday. Do you really think we could get a COVID crash? Like, we're kind of due. We are kind of due for one. You know, like when was the last time people were like, holy shit, you know? Was it this? Was it? I don't know. I guess I don't know because we didn't, because we were kind of looking for it. That's why I wasn't like, holy shit, you know? Like, when was the last time you were actually scared for the stock market? Like, holy shit, you know? It was kind of like this. I remember I felt it here too because I've never seen it before. Holy shit. Bring back the silent streams. I've been talking the whole time. You have me muted? We're entering the great melt up phase. Yeah, a lot of people are pushing that super cycle, man. Like, I'm not gonna get in the way of it if it happens, but I can't afford to be wrong. So if you're in and you're making money, that's great. But I look at the RSI on some of these. And it makes me think like, dude, we kind of need something, you know? Like when I look at this chart, I don't, this is what I'm talking about though. Just when I feel like being a moon boy, I look at this and I just can't do it. Like this, there's no way this is gonna go on forever. Seriously, we're getting to the point now where it's getting a little bit too much. So it doesn't necessarily mean it has to go like this, because I don't think that's possible either. Because this is not possible. We can't go down to November of 2027. It's impossible. But we need at least something, you know? That's why the 2022 bear market was really the real bear market, man. We need at least something to where we could go, and then maybe 2029 is the real bear market again. But when I look at the stock RSI, it makes me realize how bearish 2022 actually was. Like you got a full-blown reset. Dollar's becoming weaker. That's why people would rather park their money in stocks and crypto. I mean, I wouldn't say and crypto. I would just say stocks. I mean, outside of Bitcoin, what's really going up? I don't even know if you could say Bitcoin is going up. Yeah, I mean, look at Ethereum. I can't throw my money in with the candles looking like that. It looks like we're getting ready to start a bunch of red candles, doesn't it? Dude, doesn't it though? It kind of looks like this. I don't know. I would rather watch it go higher without me than FOMO in now and watch it go to zero. Because I do think because of where we are, if it is still a bear market, the S&P has to come down at some point. And I know some people don't think that's possible, but like I said yesterday, these moves are so impulsive that the move down is going to be even more impulsive. So we can definitely go back to 520 SPY. I'm not saying it's definitely gonna happen, but it definitely could. Because by the time it happens, that would probably be like 20. It'll probably be like 540 actually. That's a 28% correction. Last May we saw 20%. In 2018 we saw 20%, which 20% is not 28%, but look at where we are. I mean, the size of the bull run is just ginormous. The question is it going to happen? It always does. We always come to this green moving average. So the question you really have to ask yourself, is it different this time? And if it is, then congratulations. But if it isn't, then at some point she's got to come back to 520, 540. And if it does happen, those 3x ETFs are going to go down by 80%. And then they're going to V recover. And that's where we make our strike. I was in a meeting, wanted to ask, can you look at Bitcoin lifetime during May? I don't think those months matter. I stopped pointing out the months a long time ago. Cryptomyosis is in the building. Just subbed again, had to take a break. That's all right, man. Welcome back. What's my opinion on Zcash? This is a casino coin. None of this matters. Yeah, the monthly things I don't pay attention to. It's just something to talk about for a YouTube video, but I think most of us are over the hill. And we're just trying to look for actual data. We're over the hill, over the hump. So I wonder if Nanengoyan, he got me thinking because I don't know if we would get a COVID crash, but imagine. It's not going to look like this. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. You know why I'm not opposed to it? Because look at our 2025, man. The 2025 4-year cycle bull run was absolute rubbish. So I'm actually starting to think that 2029 isn't even going to be worth participating in. Because even if you sold your Bitcoin at 110, the real top was 124. And it's getting weaker every time. So I think if you sell your Bitcoin in October, September of 2028, the top in 2029 isn't going to be that much higher. But man, it doesn't matter. It's all hypotheticals. The reality is, SPY just keeps recovering. Every time it sells off, they just start buying again. Oh yeah, you want to know what else I saw? There's actually a gap down here. I don't know if anybody pointed this out. Nobody in the chat pointed it out. But there's actually a CME gap down here. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but at 70,000, there's a little air pocket here. I wonder if we're going to go. I mean, I don't think it matters that much, but I think we're going to come down here again. But if we go down there again, we're going below that. There's no way that shit holds. Not with the momentum that we have. Oh yeah, we filled this gap too. I don't really pay attention to gaps, honestly. That's more for the traders, but because they don't always get filled. This gap never got filled until bear market started. This gap got filled. Oh, this gap never got filled here. So the gaps don't always get filled. This gap didn't get filled until the bull market. That was a year later. But if we're not in a bear market anymore, then this gap will never get filled. I don't know if that's true necessarily. Check Aster. Isn't that the BNB coin? It's actually holding up pretty good. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll see where it's at in December. If it's still above 50 cents, I'd be shocked. Make 3 wishes. I am your genie. I don't really have any wishes to make. I have my wish days. Was there anything else I wanted to share? I don't think so. Let's take a look at the doo-doo coins. Anything? Oh, Flog is pumping again. Oh, no, it is pumping again. Wow. It doubled from 44 to 85. What else we got? Bobo rugged. Forgot they changed. Are people still gambling in the Solana casino? Oh, they made a new GameStop coin. I'm surprised. Brain rot. I am surprised actually that the casino is still open. I am, I'll admit. I didn't think it would continue. But obviously there's just unlimited money. So, wow, look at Myro. Oh yeah, but Myro went down big time. Do I think ACH will hit 5 cents? No. Maybe in 2028. Not now. I had I had an indicator that I wanted to share. Yeah, this is broken. I gotta get rid of some of the stuff. Some of the stuff's invalidated. There was a good one. It should be on my screen. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this one. We should have one more move left. We should go below 47,000. Right? You know what was a really good indicator that sucks they got rid of? The logarithmic regression band. I don't know why they never remade it. Whoever, by they, I mean whoever made it. This was such a good indicator. The problem is it doesn't work. It only works on BLX, but BLX doesn't work anymore for some reason. They delisted it. Oh, look at our chart from 2024. Almost. See how good this was, man? This thing called the top too, but it doesn't work. So we're at 80K right now. So what is 80K? Should be able to recreate it though. Let me see. So what did we do? We went down to what? 80,000. Then we bounced to like 97, right? And then we went down to 60, which was in the blue box. And now we're at 80. So historically, we should come to this green line, which at the end of the year should be around 47,000. Yeah, we should go below 50,000, I think. The bottom is usually at this green line. And you can't even argue, oh, well, we never hit the red, because we did. We should theoretically come to this line here. which is around 44 to 47,000. Yeah, it's too bad they broke the chart. Even here, you didn't hit the green line, but you hit the top one. So our top one is what? 58,000 to 62,000. GameStop's trying to buy eBay. Who knows? 60K was the bottom. Just stand on the sideline now and FOMO back in when Bitcoin goes above 100K. Exactly. And if we go down there, I hope you're still around because I need more viewers. 8 to 10 cents. Have I watched The Sopranos? No, I haven't watched The Sopranos. That's a random question. It's just bearish and there is no hopium. Yo, how are you doing, man? I saw your live stream. You were sitting on the floor, man. What's going on? Why are you sitting on the floor? There was an orange cat sleeping on the chair. Is the peanut gallery still here? No, I dropped that terminology. I dropped that term. We're looking forward. But we're in that uneasy period where is it bullish, is it bearish? You just got to let the market do its thing and the answer will reveal itself long enough. So, have I watched Venice Token? I have not. I don't know if there was anything else specifically that I wanted to share. The Dow is struggling. I'm not saying we're here. That would be cool if we were, but the Dow is struggling though. So this is definitely a tech-driven rally, which is why I don't know if it's legit. I mean, what is considered legit, right? Because clearly the price is going up, but I don't know if it's not. I really think it's going to retrace. I think we're going down at the end of the year. I do. I'm not saying you have to listen to me. I'm just giving you my opinion. Out of here, that 40 billion QE since January. Actually, what did the Dow do last? Yeah, it only fell by 20%. You just gotta let it do its thing, you know? That's all you can do. So if the chat, oh, I didn't run a poll today. Some of the chat's bullish, some of the chat's bearish. I think we can let the price be bullish until July. And once July passes, if we're still at 80,000 or lower, that's when I turn back into perma bear. Because we would have to really start moving down to get to the bottom. Watch by the summer, we realized we were in easy mode this entire time. Right, but some people say that all the way to zero, you know? Like a lot of people just hold all the way to zero and pretend everything's okay. Maybe those people have really good jobs where they can afford to do that, but I don't have that. So I have to be 100% sure that the bottom is in. And I have seen no indication that the bear market low is in. Obviously, we had some type of major low, of course, which even I admitted, okay, that's it, we're not going down. It wasn't the bottom, but it was right before the rally. That's all that matters to me. But I haven't seen enough to where it's like, if I don't get in now, I'm going to be poor forever. Some people still think that way, and then when we go down, I don't know what they do. They just, I don't know. they say, oh, well, bullish. But for me, I don't feel comfortable putting my money in at a 50% drawdown. It should be a little bit more than that at around like 66 or 65. We got Crypto Meow Assist for 2 says buying a home, so I can't really super more than that. I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. That's all good. That's awesome, man. You're going to be in Florida by October. Pretty good, pretty good. That's awesome. That's exciting, man. That's exciting, buying a home. Mr. Meowisis. Congratulations, man. I'm down to the ground anyway. I bought major bags in April of 2025. Can I look at USDT.D? What's up, Ian? Welcome. Yeah, the tether dominance is kind of not doing anything. It's bearish, which is bullish for crypto. I don't really think there's much to look at. You know? Everything says we should be going up right now. And we are. Nothing says we should crash right now. The only thing that says we would crash is the absence of taking this high in a timely manner. So what's a timely manner? Probably when the weekly stock RSI starts curling over. Because even in a bull market, the weekly stock RSI hits oversold. So I don't want to know what the price is going to do if we stall here and then we go down to oversold. What do I think it's going to do? I think it's going to go like this. Now, if we come to the end of the summer and it's a higher, well, I wouldn't say the end of the summer, because we could technically, you know what? That is possible too. We could technically roll over from 82 down to 64 by September. And then from September to November go down to 44. That's definitely possible. We don't necessarily have to just go down in one shot. We could do something like this too. It could be 2 little moves. It would just have to be a little bit larger. But that's all hypotheticals. Until then, it's bullish. California is too expensive. I can't buy a shack for less than 700,000. Also, we're paying $7 for gas. Yeah, that's pretty high. I mean, my gas is starting to go up too, which is so bizarre because oil went down, but the price of gas didn't move. So, I wonder what the gas with the oil the oil companies went down too. That's so bizarre. But that's, yeah, $7 a gallon. That's way too much. I remember I went to out west in 2022 and it was 6.50 a gallon in the middle of the desert. I always wondered how the cars don't just die when it's 120 degrees in the desert. I remember in 2023, a lot of you guys said that you lived in Texas and Arizona, and there was a heat wave that was melting the car's stoplights or the reflectors on the back of the car. Gas is 2 liters a euro. €2 a liter. Gas could get even more expensive too. We're 20 minutes away from Disney World, so Amanda can vlog at Disney while I sit on the floor with my cat. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. Oh, I wonder what the Cutler RSI is doing on SPY. That's interesting. I didn't think of that. Yeah, it's still bullish. Still in a bull territory. I guess it doesn't really work that well though, you know, because it doesn't really, yeah, it's not really that good for SPY. It works for Bitcoin. It doesn't really work for SPY. I mean, you could say the weekly works if you buy every time it's in the purple, but the bottom for SPY was, oh yeah, it was in the purple. Oh no, it wasn't in the purple. Well, I guess June was close enough to the bottom. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna be bullish. I guess we missed the train. Just watch it go higher. What'd that guy say? FOMO in at 100K. Crazy logistics. There's a lot going on. All while crypto sucks. I'm not making any money. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised people are holding crypto still. I'm going to drive there with my '08 Corolla. You're driving from California? Well, I guess that would be a fun little road trip. Just put all your money in at 100K. No, like genuinely, I am honestly preparing. Like, I don't feel the slightest bit of FOMO. I just feel I'm upset that the stock market's doing what it's doing, but I'm hoping with a sliver of hope that this semiconductor bubble just does something other than go straight up. You know, like seriously, at what point do these people start taking profit, man? They got to start selling eventually. And the undeniable fact is every time Bitcoin bottoms out, this ETF goes down 80% on average. And the same thing did happen in 2018 where Bitcoin was bearish and this thing made another high. Even more so in 2014. You might even be in here where the semiconductors looked like they were going to be bearish, but then they teleported up again. And then out of nowhere, they pulled the rug 64%. This one was much larger. Well, it's the same as 60, but from the high, it was 68%. So maybe we only go down 68%, which is $50. But I don't know if that's going to be the case because it just has to be a flash crash. It doesn't even have to be sustained selling. Like, I understand that Micron is making people live longer, but at some point, these guys got to take profit. Even if it only goes down 40%, that's where it was a month ago. That ETF will still fall by 70% because it's a leveraged ETF. So I don't need these stocks to come down here. I just need them to pull back. And they do. They always do. 50%. Yeah, and it's when Bitcoin goes down to the bottom. That's what I'm saying. Micron didn't turn bearish until the halfway mark of the bear market. So what I'm hoping for, no, Nvidia's still going. Wow. They're paying, it's almost 6 trillion. They're making people live longer. I get it. Riser for 2 says, so the Gaussian channel is done forever and ever. I appreciate the 2. I don't think it's done forever, but it's not as useful as it once was. For me, I only want to use indicators that work 100% of the time. And up until this market cycle, it did. But I'm not going to look at something that might work. You know, could we argue that we're still in a bear market because of it? I think most likely, yes. But this was the first time it turned red and we went up. That's an undeniable statement. So let me get a different, there you go. This was the first time it turned red and we went up. So I'm not going to use something that maybe we go down, maybe we go up. It's useless. That's like saying it could go up, it could go down. I don't know if the indicator itself is useless, but the way that we were looking at it is no longer useful. I think the 5-day will help us because the 5-day helped us call this crash too. So we'll still use it when the time comes, but the reason why I think it's not useful anymore is because it's heavily reliant on historical momentum, and because the peak is no longer corresponding with the momentum peak, it's not as useful. Does that make sense? Historically, the momentum usually topped with the peak. We don't have that anymore, which is why, at least that's my explanation, why it turned red even though we went up. Because it's acting as if this was the top, but this wasn't the top. This was the top. Which I don't have an explanation, but that would be it. But it doesn't matter. It's not useful anymore. I think we could use it to help predict when the big part of the bull market will start. Right? Historically, when it turns green on the Gaussian channel, that should be where the bull run picks up. Now, in 2018, that actually marked the top for the crash, but would the crash have happened if COVID didn't come? I don't know. So I'm not going to say it's the best indicator anymore, but we might still use it, but I'm not going to be looking at it anytime soon. Because the 8-day did actually mark the low. For me, I was waiting for the 8-day to turn red, which is why, again, like the first 3 or 4 days of April, that was when I stopped saying crash because I accepted it's just not going down. It's tough to swallow when you're wrong, but the faster you swallow the pill, the better off you'll be. So I swallowed it right before I almost was uncured. Like some people wait forever to take the medicine, and sometimes they wait too long. I waited to the very last second, but I finally swallowed the bullish pill. And we blasted up as soon as I said we're not going down. So I'm glad that at least I was able to flip bullish at the last second. This was one of the big indicators I was waiting for. The problem is, even in 2022, when it turned red, the bottom was in, but then you made another low after that. That's why I'm thinking we should go make another low after this. So it's not, and I'll say that if we do make another low, then it isn't useless, but it's not as useful as it once was, I will say. Now the 9-day is turning red. So if we crash from here, all right, now that's 2 for 2. The second time you got a 9-day channel, we turned red. In 2018, actually in 2018, you turned red and we crashed as well. This doesn't look like a crash, but we fell by 17%. And this one kind of marked it, not necessarily, but I guess if we start going down now, we could say it's pretty useful, but it's not as useful as it once was. That I will say. But I think for the bull market, we'll be able to use it for when it's time to like start flipping Moonboy bullish. Maybe the 12-day turning green, but it's still green. But it doesn't turn red until the bear market's over. Yeah, actually, that's a good inference. What's going on here? What's the next day to turn red? The 10-day? Yeah, I would say the indicator definitely lost its pizzazz. If it works, if it doesn't work all the time, then why bother using it? You're better off just looking at the stars. Christopher, appreciate it too. Chris for 10 says, can you please look at Litecoin monthly and a weekly? I appreciate the 10, man. That is awesome. Yeah, I think Litecoin could be directly compared to Ethereum Classic. They have the same chart pattern and they have the same family. I think Litecoin is actually going to come to the 2018 low at like 30 bucks, maybe 40. The momentum for Litecoin is turning bullish on the 10-day. You can see every time we've done that since 2022, we have seen a rally. This may be the first time it doesn't happen. Even in the summer, you can see we had a 50% gain off the low. Right now, we're up 30%. So if Litecoin was going to pump, this is the environment for it too. You can see 9-day stock RSI, max bullish. We're max bullish right now. And we've been saying that for about a month. The weekly stock RSI for Litecoin is overbought. If you mark when it hits overbought, you can see in 2024 it was right before the rally. In 2025, it was at the top. In 2023, it was kind of in the middle. I would still say it's in the middle. There's really no way to know. 2022, we turned bearish. 2022, we actually turned bearish. So I would give it a couple more weeks and it should move up. But again, I really think the summer is our answer. Are we still in a bear market? Because with the amount of bullish momentum that we have, if it was actually bullish, like some people are arguing, it would go up. It's the idea that it's not moving, even though it should be if it was bullish, is what makes it bearish. The monthly stock RSI too, you hit oversold. So some people might think the bottom is in, but then it fell another 70%. Holy macaroni. So the stock RSI on the monthly, it just hit oversold in February. So even though Litecoin was bearish for the last 2 years, it just hit oversold in February or January. Well, not oversold, but like the bottom here, the bottom of the barrel. It's with the crabs. You know, when you step on a crab in the ocean, you got my toe. That's where it is right now. And in 2022, it sat down here for a couple months and then it fell by 70%. In 2018, it was also prevalent. It hit oversold in April. Then we sat here for a couple months and then it went down to the bottom of the ocean. So I would give Litecoin maybe 2 more months. And if it's still at $56 by the end of July, I think it's coming down with the crabs. The reason why I think that is because Ethereum Classic has the same exact chart almost. And Ethereum Classic is already down with the crabs. But you can see Ethereum Classic came back to the 2018 low. So how do you avoid that? I think you need to see a Litecoin scam pump, which I'm not going to pretend to know if it's going to happen or not. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. If it does, then you know that you're not going to 2018 prices. But my deadline for that would be August or July. Because I really think heading into September, October, November, it is going to be the capitulation. Because like I said in the beginning of the stream, us rallying, the act of us rallying into the summer is not surprising. I was looking for that. I just thought we were going to get another move down first. But because we didn't, it just tells me that the move down coming out of the summer, which I also thought would happen, is just going to be larger, which I'm okay with. But the reason why some people don't think that way, and maybe they're right and I'm wrong, I'm not saying you have to listen to me, is because the S&P is going vertical. But I also know, as I was around in 2018, it goes vertical until it doesn't, and then a big red candle comes out of nowhere. But it's not necessarily out of nowhere if you know what you're looking for. I'm not saying I know what I'm looking for. I'm just saying. right? In 2018, you did get a red dot, and then you got another red dot on the first red candle. So if we get another red dot, we'll know, all right, start looking for some type of move down. Because we got the red dot in February, and then the move down was in March. We got the red dot in January or December, and the move down was in March. So we did turn green again. We're not going to get a red dot probably for a couple months, but we'll know when we get the red dot within the next 3 months, we should see a big red candle on SPY. And I think Bitcoin being at 80,000 in August will confirm that. So that's where I'm at. I think Litecoin should go up, but if it doesn't by July or August, I think it's going down to this low. If you told me what's more likely, $30 for Litecoin or 190, I would say 30. I think past August, I would put a magnet down here. Not just because it's Litecoin, I have a magnet down here for everything. But if it ends up pumping before August, then the magnet goes away. It's the same thing for Dogecoin. Like, I can't look at this and say, you better get in before you miss the boat. It looks like it wants to roll over again. But I have to respect the bullish momentum until it tires out. But we've been saying that for a couple weeks now. So at some point, it's going to get tired. And I'll admit the fact that I'm feeling FOMO, because I'm human just like everyone else, right? I'm not a robot millionaire. I'm just a regular person. I feel monster FOMO on the semiconductors. Like, not like people throw around the term FOMO because you feel like you're missing out. I genuinely had the semiconductors. I have a whole watch list of all of them. Like, I was actually watching all of them. Like, I have real FOMO, but I can't do anything. I can't buy in when they're editing into the program, control edit, enter green bar. I can't get in because I know that as soon as I get in, it's going to print one of these. And because we're looking for a bear market for Bitcoin, I just have to watch it go to the moon. But when it does finally come down, wherever that is, that's where I'll make my strike. But we'll know that if it's October, November, December, and it happens to be down there, that's historically where the bottom is. So I'll take my money and throw it in. Not necessarily in whatever I'm showing you, just in general. And if it goes lower, it goes lower. But I think we're well prepared. It's just tough to start making bear charts when it's just going straight up. Because I can't really tell you I know what it's going to do. But even if you compare Litecoin with SPY, you throw Litecoin on the chart, and you say, well, when does Litecoin, like what does the S&P do when Litecoin bottoms? It's the same thing. You know, everything pretty much bottoms together. So some people are arguing that the bottom is in already, which maybe it is. But that's why I keep saying the same thing over and over again. The only alternative to the bottom not being in is it's significantly lower. And if it is significantly lower, whoever's in right now, their portfolio is going to get slashed in half or even 70%. And we know that it takes much longer to recoup because not everyone's holding Bitcoin. And that's why I would rather just go to sleep saying I wish I had more money than staring at my phone. I'll admit it's like I said a couple of weeks ago, I reached the point where I would rather not be poor than try and be a millionaire. Because I've tried and tried and tried. I came the closest I've ever been, which I wasn't close to being a millionaire, but I was like not knocking on the door, but I was like knocking on the door to knocking on the door. You like if it was a millionaire party, I'd be knocking on the door to the house, but then I'd be standing outside in the lobby with everyone else. So I wasn't even close, but I was outside. You know, I made it past the gate, but now I'm not even close to that. Now I'm like I'm in the sewer. I gotta climb out of the sewer first. I started from the sewer. I opened up the sewer door. I made it to the gate. I opened up the gate. I was knocking on the door. Now I'm back in the sewer. But I've made peace with it because I didn't make peace with it fully, but I'm making peace with it because waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning, checking my phone, oh my God, I gotta get out. Dude, that's the worst feeling in the planet. I hate that so much. Have to check my phone at 2 a.m., seeing the red candle, my heart's pounding. I gotta run to my computer. Hurry up, hurry up. It's over. Those days are over for me. I'm not doing it anymore. So I have no issue watching everyone get rich because if it ends up coming back down, I have all my money ready to go. I'm accepting I'm never going to be rich, or maybe I'll be rich one day in 10 years, but it's no longer I have to get rich now. Now, what's funny about life is normally when you do that, you end up getting what you should have gotten when you do it right the first time, right? Like if you're starving yourself all the time, it's tough to lose weight. But if you do it right the first time, you just eat healthy or whatever. And don't take advice from me because I've never been in shape, but it's the same thing with everything in life. So I learned my lesson trying to get rich quick. I got a decent amount of money, but I didn't know how to manage it, so I lost it all. Now I'm trying to manage what I have. So when I do finally get some money back, I don't even like saying the term back because I don't want that money. I want new money. When I get some money again, I'm going to know how to manage it better. And what I learned chasing shit coins is I'm not putting my money in here. The problem is there's only one alternative to this, and it's this. And if this happens, Bitcoin's going to 30, not 30K. I don't think Bitcoin's going to 30K. That's too low. I would say like 45 probably. Doesn't mean it can't go lower than that. No, but I don't see a reason to be bearish once it goes to like 46, 45. I'm not buying Bitcoin anyway, so I don't even care how low it goes. But if it went below 40, I would be ecstatic. That would be nice. But it's not really going to matter because I'm not buying it anyway. But could you imagine what Litecoin would be if Bitcoin's at 30 or 45,000? They would be disintegrated. Everything would be disintegrated. So we think it can't happen, but that's because we think like moon boys. And if I look at Ethereum Classic, I say it absolutely can happen. What's the difference between Ethereum Classic and Dogecoin? Like literally, I'm not even bullshitting you. They have the same exact chart. Doge has a little bit stronger of a chart, which is why I think Doge should hold the low. But tell me the difference between these two charts. There is none. They both bottomed in July. They both had summer pumps. They both made higher lows in the spring, fall of 2023. Doge made a higher high in November. Ethereum Classic technically did too. They both made lower highs in September. The problem is Ethereum Classic went to zero and Doge didn't. They both peaked in the spring of 2021. They both had double tops in 2017, and they both were bearish into 2016. They're the same exact chart. It's just Doge is stronger than Ethereum Classic. So that's why I think Doge should hold. If it doesn't, then I'm screwed because nobody's going to come back next time. That's why I have to start implementing a new... I would like to try and implement MSTR to my channel. That's why I was hoping Doge did pump in the summer. This way I have propaganda to spew. But if Doge goes to 4 cents, nobody's going to come back. They're going to say Doge is dead, which is going to kill my channel. That's why I'm trying to focus a little bit more. As you can see from the thumbnails, I now include Bitcoin and Dogecoin. So it's at least, I guess, something. But if I had to bet money, which I'm not directly betting money, but I'm indirectly betting money because I'm not buying anything, I am betting on us having a very nasty move down out of the summer. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not trying to say that I'm going to be right. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'd rather be wrong and watch everyone else go to the moon than be wrong and pile in and lose everything. Because I'm starting to think that this bull run coming up is the last chance for somebody like me. I can't I have enough money now to where I know I can do some good work, but I can't this is it for me. This is my last try. And knowing that I can't risk gambling on some garbage that's up 20%. You know, like people come in the stream and say, "Oh, something is up 50%." And then when I look at it, it's like, yeah, look at it. If you zoom out, it makes sense. But I don't, but like there's no FOMO for me. That this coin is done. It's never going back up there. So I just say this just to manage your risk, you know? If you don't want to, you don't have to. Maybe, like I said, maybe you got a nice job and you don't care. You just DCA, whatever. You gotta do what's best for you. I don't have that scenario. I have to watch every, and that's my fault. That's not like me saying boo-hoo. Like that's just the decision I made. But with that circumstance, I know what my risk is, and I can't risk buying at 80,000, knowing that historically we do go lower. So I just have to assume, or not assume, I have to prepare for what has always happened. And if something different happens and we go to the moon, then like that guy said, just pile in after 100K. I would even wait. I'm waiting for the all-time high to break. Because if we break this all-time high, then everything's going to start moving. That's why I don't feel any FOMO. You missed the turnaround. You missed a turn into the driveway. Got to turn around. I appreciate the 10 though. I don't know why I rambled for so long. Okay, look at the RSI. I don't know if the RSI is as useful as it once was. Because it's hitting oversold faster than it normally does, because it's hitting overbought faster than it normally does. Like you could argue that Litecoin bottomed because it hit oversold, and historically that has been true, but you would have to assume that Bitcoin already bottomed, which some people are. That's why it's kind of like a runaround question. I don't think the bottom is in for Bitcoin, so I can't say that Bitcoin is going to 50K and Litecoin bottomed. That worked out last time because Litecoin had a monster rally. Now you're seeing the other side. Bitcoin's having a monster rally and Litecoin's not moving. So like I said before, unless Litecoin teleports to 70K, sorry, 70 bucks, there's almost a guarantee it's coming down here. Because think about this. Now, even if Bitcoin goes back to the low, it's gonna fall by 23%. That by itself would push Litecoin to a new low at 40 bucks almost. So I see that it's oversold, which has marked the low each time. Maybe that's true, but I don't think it is. I don't think the bottom is in for Bitcoin. Riser for 2 says 60K on Toya Inc. Toya Inc. I don't know what this is. Package software? Sounds like a scam. Yeah, is this another AI company? If you have 60K to gamble, I don't, the thing with stocks like this is you kind of have to do research on them. Stocks like this are similar to shitcoins, but they technically are actual companies. So if they do actually start producing something, it will have value. Whereas the scam coin team just tweet a bunch of rubbish and then they go walk the dog. I don't know what this is. Can I make a chart prediction based on sideways for 3 years? I would assume if it's another AI scam and it continues to do this heading into December, you should go like this. I don't know what happened here. Could it go like this where it just goes down forever? Of course. That's why I would have to argue you have to look at what it actually does. But I would argue bearish below $3. I think if you're going to take a gamble on it, at the end of the year would probably be where the gamble is. So if it crashes down to $1.50 and it happens to be AI stock, then maybe you get one of these. But it's a maybe because it's $1. It's a $2 stock. It's gambling. It's like Deck Screener. Is this better than Deck Screener? Technically, yes, because it is a company that has green earnings every time. But it could also be vaporware, like that NKLA. You guys remember NKLA? I remember when this first came out, it was the talk of the town. It was the next Tesla. It had green earnings all the way to zero. So, oh my God. I can't tell you. I can't tell you definitively for a $2 stock. It's gambling. But I appreciate the two, man. I'm happy I sold my OXT. Yeah, it's nice not holding through a bear market. Rolling with Toshi for 2 says ZBCN. Yeah, is this like the next Solana? I see a lot of people asking about this. What is this? You are getting stuck at the 618 retracement though, so be careful. I know it's bull market bullish super cycle, but the 618 retracement is king still. So in order to get euphoric, we got to get over 4 cents or whatever this is, 4 micro pennies. All right, you did break the downtrend, which is good. You are testing it as support, which is great, but you never cleared the 618 retracement. So as long as we're below that, I have to assume it's bearish. Now in the short term, we could say still bullish as long as you're above 27. So above 27, we're bullish. Anything below that, and you're going to make another low or at least come back to the low. I do appreciate the two. We have Coinbase earnings today, so that'll probably give us the forecast for the summer. You missed, already read that. What's up, local liquid? How you guys doing today? I'm only buying BTC. I'll be fine with 200%. I mean, yeah, man, if 200% for some people is enough. But for me, I'm looking at stocks and I'm like, why would I buy Bitcoin if I can buy a leveraged ETF? It's kind of the same thing as Bitcoin. You can't hold it forever. Well, I guess Bitcoin, that's the difference. Bitcoin, you could hold forever. This, you could technically hold forever, but you really didn't make any money if you didn't sell. You kind of made no money for 10 years. February of 2018 until 2025, 7 years. But what I'm thinking is, what if we do get a crash like this and we do start a whole new, like, what if my super moon boy theory is, what if we are on the tail end of this bull market, like this was one big bull market, just like this was one big bull market? It's kind of the same concept. This was 1,500 days. We're at 1,300 days. 1,500 days would put us at the end of the year. You know? So it's like if you bought in at the top for COVID, you got baptized until the following September. But this was like your real reset. So we would be in something like this, kind of. It's not going to look exactly like this, but like I understand it's just going to go up forever, but it can't. Because at some point, people are going to stop buying. You know, it's not even about sellers, it's about stop buying. And then it's about the sellers. First, the buyers disappear, and then the sellers come in. But the reality is, some of these stocks are just going to keep going to the point where they're never going to go back there. But I'm not buying these stocks. Like this stock, Intel. Oh, well, Intel, we already know. But like Meta is never going back to $100. Never. It's impossible. But it has been getting accumulated or distributed for over a year now, since January. So if I had to guess, there should be one final flush. That's the trigger point, and then Meta goes on a run. Like everyone is probably arguing Meta sucks because of this and that. It doesn't matter. Every time the bull market starts, Meta comes back to life. You can't have a bull run without Meta. Meta runs the world. Instagram. Do you know how many people use Instagram? It goes deeper than that. All of the dating apps are owned by Instagram. It's like, or not all of them, but Meta. It's like it's a big wormhole. It's a wormhole. Meta will always be around. I feel like they own that phone service that all the immigrants use. WhatsApp. Like they own a lot of stuff. It's just we're not really in a bull we're in a bull market, but we're not in a bull market. So I think because Meta has been doing nothing, when it does finally come down, that should do it. Like that should trigger the bull market. So, and there's 3x ETFs for Meta. I have it on my watch list. I wonder, right? If Meta falls by 50% or even 30%, then this will fall down. And then if it does a V recovery, I don't know. We got plenty of time. I mean, I don't know if I'd say plenty of time. I think I don't know. I really think we're going down from here, man. I just kind of hope it doesn't do that until after August. I would feel much more comfortable being a perma bear after July even. Because again, you could take it as textbook as the 200-day moving average. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying you could. And people might look back at this and say, look, we hit the 200-day moving average. It happens every market cycle. Bada bing, bada boom. Bear market. Maybe it's that simple, but I don't want to look at it. I don't want to. I don't want to. Too much dip, not enough chip. Bitcoin will become MySpace and ETH will become Facebook. ETH will shock everyone. Dude, Meta is never going away, man. I just don't understand how people are still buying Nvidia at 5 trillion valuation. Like even a two yeah, but what if we do get a COVID crash? I think it would be a V recovery. It's not going to be because of COVID, obviously, but It's just because of how inflated everything is. Oh my God, look at the daily candle on QCOM. It went all the way to 220. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be a semiconductor moon boy, dude. I know I'm late to the party, but what if this is just the beginning? Like I thought about it as I was driving before. What if this is truly a next level paradigm shift? Like what if 1 trillion market cap is the new norm? Think about it. We're not in 2017 anymore. That was 10 years ago. I think Amazon hit $1 trillion in 2019 and it was a big deal. Now you have stocks running out of someone's garage worth $1 trillion. And all of these semiconductors are pretty much 400 billion. Some of them are a trillion, and then Nvidia is 5 trillion. So it's like, what if we're getting ready for that next step of AI? I'm just using the buzzwords that all of the grifters use. AI, not grifting, AI grifting, AI, quantum computing, blockchain dissection, robotics. Like, what if we're entering that next shift? Mobile blockchain debriefings, mobile chip, microchip. I don't know. I don't even know what a microchip is. What if that's where we are? I played QCOM big, made some coin this morning, but couldn't time the spike. Yeah, I made the smallest amount of money on it. I missed the spike this morning, but it is what it is. It's there's just so many options. Here's another one, NXPI. This is only 73 billion market cap. Like that's nuts. 73 billion is nothing. That's why I think if we do get this crash, like some of these semiconductors might actually go. Here's another one, monolithic power, 76 billion. But like that's what I'm saying. What if the next 10 years we really do see the robotics and all of this rubbish? That's why I think I'm ditching crypto. I'm just going to be a stock. I mean, I'm not going to ditch crypto, but here's the thing. If you're still listening, stocks usually do perform better most of the time, but there's that sweet spot that we're going to find because we always do. There's that sweet spot where crypto is king. That's when I switch. That's what I'm trying to shoot for. Like last year, it was September of 2023. If you bought crypto in September of 2023 and you sold in March of 2024, you pretty much did it. You made a killing. And then if I switch back to stocks, I don't have to worry about a 95% drawdown. Obviously, unless I'm doing the semiconductors, the ETF. But I mean, even Ethereum, man, after March of 2024, look at what Ethereum did. Nothing. Literally nothing. You could have sold. I'm not even exaggerating. You could have sold in March of 2024 and just left. We had a 5 month bull market. But that's how it always is. You went from October of 2020, and I mean that's more than 5 months. What's October to May? 6 months. May to October is 5 months. Shouldn't it be the same way? The other way around? No, it's not, because 200 days is like 6 months. No, it's not because there's November and December. Yeah, it's like 6, 7 months. So same thing though. If you sold here, you didn't miss anything. So the 4-year cycle concept, while it is still relevant for Bitcoin, for everything else, it's irrelevant. Which is why I'm getting excited. I mean, I'm not excited, but I'm at peace with it because I'm not at peace with it. I'm making peace with it. I think once we actually go down, I'm going to make peace with it because then we're going to know, listen, the clock has started. Like this top here in April of 2021 was 1,000 days away from the top in 2024. So 1,000 days from here is not going to be January of 2027. But it's probably going to be January of 2028, which is in 2 years, 2.5 years. But I think we're closer to that than we are to the last top in March of 2024. Well, not now, but by the end of the year, we will be. Is Disney pivoting to AI? Is Disney still around? What's going on with Disney? They're really... Yeah, but this is kind of like what Intel did. It's just doing nothing. And then they're gonna tweet robotics chip and it's gonna go to the moon. What about Boeing? Boeing's doing the same thing. It had that 2019 run and never did anything. Yeah. Boeing had a monster run in 2019 and then it just died. I actually I think Boeing could do the same thing too. Maybe we get that one last bear market crash and then Boeing announces they're making AI chips. It's I could see this being the case for Boeing. The clock has started now. I mean, some people think that, right? I've laid out my argument more than enough times. If you think this is a super cycle, more power to you. I'm not getting in the way of that. But for me, I can't risk it. So I see enough evidence to sit on the sidelines. I don't see enough evidence to short because we could be bullish for another month or two, but I don't see any evidence to FOMO in. Like when I see Coinbase making a flat top like this, that did happen in 2022, and the earnings is today. So for all I know, maybe we're about to go straight up. But then a retracement from there will confirm it is bearish. And then obviously, if it just goes down, then we know it's bearish. Gemini, same thing. Gemini's not moving. MSTR definitely had a big move. That's a bullish argument. But again, MSTR coming back down will confirm that it's bearish. Now, MSTR going back to 250. All right, you got an argument there. Might be bullish. Robinhood again is back near the low. So I would rather watch it go to the moon than get in and get hosed. Because if you get hosed, you lose twice. You lose the money from getting hosed, and then you don't have any money to buy the bottom. Which for me, again, if this SOXL, it's never going back to $8. That was a generational entry. It's never going back there. But I think it could come back to 40 bucks. That's where it just was. But I think 40 bucks would be the new 8 bucks. That's why I'm trying to think, are we on the cusp of a new AI revolution? And the semiconductors are going to be on the forefront. I don't know. I don't know. Are we? I called Intel at 18 and the chat laughed at me. Disney's the next big one. Yeah, I kind of felt that way too. I'm like, why is Disney not doing anything? I feel like they got something coming. But I really think we'll look back at this in 4 months and say, yeah, it was obvious. Even though at the time it doesn't feel that way. But like, I'm telling you, as a normal person, I'm feeling legitimate FOMO. Like, actual fear of, not even fear, like res regret, remorse. I'm feeling Tony Romo. I'm feeling remorse of missing out because I was gonna buy this. I just didn't want it at 40. I thought we would get one more move, but obviously stocks just go up forever. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at, I think. You got an $8. That's awesome, man. Yeah, now I have full respect for the stock market because they do have leveraged ETF. Like there's an Nvidia ETF too, I think. Oh no, they only have 2x. I mean, obviously this one was much more like nobody saw the Nvidia run coming, but there are leveraged ETFs that have legit moves, like crypto moves. Isn't there an I'm sure there's an MU2X too. Yeah. Look at this dude. Look at this nonsense. Oh my God, it's up 50x. Yeah, there. Like the stock market is legit, man. It's not what it once was. Did you guys see they got rid of the pattern day trading rule? That would have been nice 10 years ago, but like I wouldn't be shocked if everything just becomes 24/7 in the next 5 years. The market is changing. Everything's degeneracy. They have 3x leverage ETFs, 2x bull. I think they have a 4x on SPY if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they do have a 4x on SPY. Maybe even gamble on this at the bottom. Just get a free 2x, free 4x. I mean, nothing's ever free, but if Call the Moon and MM Crypto are in, we're okay. They are very wealthy. I bought at the exact bottom. I was gonna, but I just, which I can't even regret it because I was gonna, but then I pulled my money out and I bought crypto, but I got all my money from crypto. I just didn't get out. Like in May of 2025, I had a decent amount of money, but like everyone else, I thought maybe the bull market would continue. But I was holding dog shit, and all the dog shit peaked in May of 2025, which is May of 2026 now. So that's why I'm saying if the summer does pass by and Pepe's still in the dirt, we turned bearish from last May. Like I started losing money again from May of last year. And I'm sure most of you have too. So why can't we turn bearish during the summer and bottom at the end of the year when we just did that? You're telling me we can't just repeat what we just did? This kind of looks like it's going to happen. But we'll know it's bearish if it does happen because if it was a super cycle, we would be going up. Why? Because the momentum that has always sent us up every time in history is occurring right now. And it's the first time it's happening in a bear market, which means if it doesn't do what it has always done, then the opposite will happen. Just like our bearish indicators, this is the first time it's doing what has never happened. So if we get what we're getting and we're bullish, but we don't get what we've always gotten, I think the opposite will happen, which is to the downside. And for some people, it's as easy as 4-year cycle, we're bearish. But you can't make a 1-minute video saying that. You gotta milk it. You gotta milk it for the revenue. So that's that. As much as I hate to say it, ServiceNow is within 20% of its floor. What if we enter another COVID era with lockdowns? No, that's not going to happen. But I like the QE narrative. I do. Even though it's not even really bullet. Wait, this isn't QE. Oh, I don't know what this is, but this looks bearish. What is Wassel? What was the... Oh, it was this one, total assets. Yeah, I like the QE narrative. I do, for the next bull market. I definitely do like it. Just don't forget that they did QE here and we went down anyway without COVID. So I like the QE narrative. But the thing is, what if we do get a monster crash at the end of the year and that's what sparks the rate cuts? That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't necessarily need COVID 2.0, but what if we recreate a smaller version of that where it's like they cut rates and then we get a big monster V recovery? Hold on, let him cook for a second. I never say that, but it is kind of fun. Let him cook now. What happens if Bitcoin gets the bottom, SPY gets a COVID drop, we buy stocks, we get a V recovery on SPY, and then we rotate into crypto, just like in 2018. Let him cook now. Because in 2018, SPY had a V recovery and almost went back to the all-time high. You can see by March of 2019, and Bitcoin didn't move. Let him cook now. That would be the GOAT trade. You get in SPY, rotate before the Bitcoin bull run. Let him cook now. That's cringe. That's super cringe. But I'm just trying to be entertaining, even though it's cringe. I know you guys like that terminology. That's why I said it. But it's worth a shot. Give us a shot, Terry. You got to give us a shot. Give us a shot, Terry. You had your shot. Quantum computing. I don't even know what that is. Mr. Dropco is in the chat. Every video he says, stop talking about the liquidations. As much as I hate to say it, service now is on the floor. Service now. What in tarnation is this rubbish? Sounds like a DoorDash company. There's just too many software companies. I don't know. It's like the new Dogecoin bubble. Our ass is in the jackpot. I knew there was another saying. I just couldn't remember. Yeah. I don't know. I can't look at Ethereum and say, holy crap, I got to get in. I'm scared to look at ETH divided by QQQ. Oh, is Lord Narwhal still here? Dude, that's bad. Oh man, I wasn't expecting it to be that bad. Yeah, I don't know. I can't buy the super cycle hopium. I just can't. I'm not saying that you're wrong if you are. I just can't do it. That's bad, man. That's bad. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna last that much longer. I think once the summer passes, that's it. I think we head down. Yeah, I mean ETH divided by QQQ. The QQQ is beating Ethereum now. But this also makes me wonder, what if we're getting that? Like, you know how the semiconductors are getting this consolidation? What if Ethereum has one more flush and then it gets the bull run? Like, is Ethereum still doing its thing or is it just dead? Is it stop leading with liquidations? Riser for 2 says trader 2x long QUBT daily ETF. I appreciate the 2. QUBT. Yeah, I don't have that. But QUBT, I think, is a stock. Yeah, quantum computing isn't an ETF. It's actually an individual stock. I don't know what this is, man. I need a leveraged ETF. Somebody in the chat bought DRAM. Are we really on the forefront of this robotics nonsense? But here's the problem. I look through all of these ETFs and they're all the same. It's AMD, Micron, Nvidia, Intel. So why not just buy SOXL? Not you, but for me. I've been following this thing since 2019. I don't know why I just never closed my eyes. But I guess it's too late now. It's never too late. I'm telling you, I know the feeling I have. It feels like it's never going to go down, but something happens that makes it go down. And it goes down. But I appreciate it too, man. I don't know, I don't know what you want me to say. QUBT, if it's another package software company, it could be the next Iron or Hut, but I don't know what happened here that made it rug. Did they sell Lemonade and then change to an AI company? That's not a good sign. But I would say, yeah, you're getting a triple top at the 618 retracement. So once it gets over $20, you could turn bullish, I would say. But I appreciate the two, man. I would say if it breaks 22, it should run. I'm not saying when, because I don't know what happened back in 2009. But again, on the break of 780, it's bearish, really bearish. I think if we go over 85, it's GG for the Bears, period. Well, I think we're at that time where you just got to manage your risk, and live with the outcome. But I think for me, Bitcoin moving back to 75K would make me super bearish, or Bitcoin failing to break out by July will also make me super bearish. I think I go team permabear from August until December or November. Because I'm starting to think the bottom might not be in October. It might be in November or December, depending on how high we go. If the top is in already, then we could bottom in October, but what's up, Ichiru Edits? Welcome. Perfect timing. So as always, I do appreciate the support. Another good live stream in the books. The only thing I can say is manage your risk if you want. If not, you got to do what's best for you. Appreciate the super chats, the members, as always, the support. Yeah, the Dow is really struggling here. And we shall return tomorrow. I think we're halfway through the bear market. And I think, personally, this is what's in front of us. I do think we should be around 40 and change, 45 by the end of the year. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm sure if you're bullish, you have enough reason to be, so you got to do what's best for you. Regardless, everyone is welcome. No one needs to be toxic. And I appreciate the support. We'll be back tomorrow. Stay safe. None of this is financial advice. And I shall see you soon.